Good evening and welcome to the Star Chamber Show live podcast. It is a great Wednesday evening here in Lexington, Kentucky, where I, Stephen Zimmer, am broadcasting from for episode number 509. And tonight's going to be a great show. Let me tell you, we got not just one, not just two, but we have three guests coming in hot for you tonight, and it's going to be quite a good discussion and some great people, some great people, especially if you've been to Imaginarium. So yeah, it's going to be coming in tonight, and we're going to be getting Holly Phillippe on deck here just shortly. The vivacious, loquacious, and audacious one herself. And I want to give a shout out to the folks at Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva, who just had Holly and myself on as guests on their show tonight. So yes, on Podbean, you check out Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva's show tonight. Yeah, we were guests tonight on the show. Had an absolute blast. And let me tell you, time flies. Yeah, when you're having fun like that. It was a lot of fun. You know, we were talking about the Imaginarium and all kinds of stuff, writing and vampires, of course, because that's a big part of the theme. And yeah, it was great. It was a great show. So yeah, check it out if you do get a chance. And let me see. The chat room is open and starting to fill up right now. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, the first person in tonight, I believe it was Carol Preflatish. Yes, and she's an award-winning author and a screenwriter who has a brand new book coming up called Avalanche. Really, really good book. Second in her Coyote Canyon series. Mystery thriller fans, check it out. But yes, how everybody? Yeah, we got some of our guests tonight who are going to be on deck during the first segment. Starting to file into the chat room already tonight. But first, of course, we do have our opening segment where we do cover all things Imaginarium because, of course, this podcast is affiliated with the Imaginarium Convention. And so we like to keep you up to date on all the latest happenings and occurrences. So last week, we've actually been very, very busy, but we've been a little quiet on the announcements. That's because we got a lot of them coming up. We're getting ready to announce the first wave of official selections in our Independent Film Festival, and also the first wave of finalists in the screenplay side of things. And again, the way we do it, we do announce them in batches as far as finalists and official selection. So when we do announce them, it will be a group of each, and by no means all, because we still have our late deadline period going on until May the 10th for non-produced screenplays and for all the features, documentaries, short films, web series, music videos, and all that kind of good stuff. And it looks like Holly has just joined us, I think. Is that you, Holly? I don't hear Holly just yet, so maybe she's just still logging on here. I think. Holly, relog in if you get a chance, Holly. I see you on my board, but I'm not hearing you just yet. So yeah, she's gonna have to check her audio. Yeah, we were just on another on Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva. So yeah, Holly's getting recalibrated. I don't hear Holly just yet. So she's there though, folks. I promise. I'm not seeing things, but I'm not hearing her just yet. But I will go ahead and give you guys the first bit of announcements that we have. We had two new guests get announced over the past week. And coming to Imaginarium for the very first time is book blogger, writer, content creator, and actor Caitlin Bias. And she is very active on both TikTok and Instagram as a book world content creator. And as I said before, book blogger, writer, and actor. And then we also welcome back narrator, actor, voiceover artist, and podcaster.
Can you hear me?
There she is. There she is. Yes, just got you. I was just going over there to
I was going to say, you're on your own, Zimmer. Go ahead.
Not tonight. I'm gonna need you tonight. Yeah, because we got quite the group with us tonight, and I know one of them would be bitterly disappointed if you weren't on the show
Oh,
tonight.
I'd have come in the kitchen and joined you there if I had to.
Yeah, but yeah, I was just finishing up announcing our newest announced panelists, which include Rich Frazier. He was the one that right when you came on, I was announcing. Of course, returning an incredibly talented voice actor narrator, and so yeah, we're definitely very excited to have him. So, but Holly, did you told me, yes, you did, that we actually have a scoop on 3 new workshops that were confirmed,
We
correct?
do. We do.
Let me see if I can pull those up for everybody real quick
They're on there.
so they can get the
I haven't
latest
got my
scoop here.
laptop. We were just on Bat Chat till 8 o'clock. So got off there, grabbed something to eat, got that cleaned up, and now we're back on here. So, and we've been working all day. So
Yes, it's been a busy day.
busy, busy, busy.
Now these are fun. You're gonna love this,
These are
folks.
fun.
Now this is coming in hot too because this is brand
Right
new,
off the
just
right off.
confirmed like an hour ago kind of
Yeah.
thing. But we have counting for creatives, and this of course is just as it says, covering the business side, the accounting side of the creative world, and that is going to be presented by James O. Barnes. Great guy, very sharp.
Yep.
Definitely knows what he's doing, and that's going to be a very useful workshop for a lot of newer creatives, and some that are not so new. You know that need to get some freshening up on the accounting side of things. And then we also have descriptive writing and tea, and this is presented by Jen Mulvihill, JL Mulvihill, and it's going to have tea and pastries with Jen while she's
Yes.
discussing the use of all the senses when writing. So yeah, that's one you don't want to miss. You get some treats as well as good presentation on using the senses when writing. And then this one is going to be what a workshop this one is. Anatomy of a Scene, breaking down special makeup effects with the Kentucky Creature FX crew. And this is going to involve Yasmin Granlund, Claude D. Miles, and Sven Granlund. And it looks like Ronnie Jonah is going to be included on this as well. But it's going to be immersive behind the scenes breakdown of special makeup effects craft. And so it's going to involve when they worked on the Paramount Pictures feature film Twisted. They're going to show some of the actual stuff that they built for that movie, and using live scene deconstruction, exclusive BTS photos and videos. They're
And
going to
they're
pull back.
bringing some props from
Mhm.
the set. And they're going to talk about their movie Carved, which is
Yeah.
available now on Hulu. You can
Mhm.
rent Twist It now on Amazon Prime and everywhere. But this group also worked on like Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, a whole bunch of things. They're just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, specifically Sven. Sven worked on a lot of those some major Hollywood projects, and now they have a great SFX team here in Kentucky that he and Claude started, and then as I also mentioned, Yasmin Granlund, who is Sven's wife, also, and Ronnie Jonah will also be in this. But yeah, it's going to be a killer workshop. Yeah, that was just announced, so. Yeah, folks, we got some great stuff there. And then I will briefly mention that, yeah, we're down to just 3 spots in the Marathonarium 4 workshop. Only 3 spots remaining for that, and only 2 dinner tickets remain for the awards banquet. So those are down to both things are down to almost gone. So, yeah, don't wait to take advantage of those opportunities. And also, as I mentioned, the film festival late deadline is May the 10th. So that's coming up real quick here. And then last but not least, the Arlen Andrews Sr. Science Fiction and Fantasy Short Story Challenge for attendees of Imaginarium. That deadline is June the 1st for 2,000 word or less short stories of any genre of science fiction or fantasy. And there are some great cash prizes in addition to awards tied to that one. So don't want to miss that one. Check that out. Check that out. But Holly, do you have any other announcements, or I'll go to the folks that brought us
Go
tonight?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right,
Let's get going.
all right. We have got the amazing Sandy Lender, the genre blender, and Ren Garcia of League of Elders series, bringing you tonight's show. And here's a little bit from Sandy first, and then we'll go over to Ren.
Did you know that fantasy author Sandy Lender offers more than epic fantasy novels for your escapist tendencies? Oh, my friends, Sandy's imagination can take you to all kinds of crazy or satirically vampiric or horrifying places. She even has soothing poetry to ease you through periods of grief. Visit AuthorSandyLender.com to choose the exact adventure you need today.
Thank you very much, Sandy. You are awesome and definitely, definitely one of the great supporters of this podcast. And now here's a little bit from Ren with his League of Elders series and the famous question he asks every time.
The League of Elder dares to be unusual. It's easy to be swept away in this bold and uninhibited landscape where fantastic heroes become old friends and sinister villains inhabit every dark corner. Dare to explore things best left alone. Each book is your lantern, lighting the path to a world never before seen. So what do you say? Are you weird enough for us?
Are you weird enough for us?
Us, Ren. That's the question.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ren. Yeah, as always, very, very grateful. Yeah, Ren and Sandy have been supporters of the show for many years now. So yeah, definitely appreciate both of them very much. And of course, the other longtime supporter, Per Bestet. Always got to mention them too whenever I get a chance. But yes, we're going to go ahead, and we're actually early, Holly, on the guest segment.
Well, we're going to need to be, because what a show we have in store.
We do, and there are tonight. It's a little unusual of a format because we have 3 guests tonight, and the plan is to have them come on in a staggered manner. So I'm going to go ahead and give an overall introduction here to start things. And then I'll bring on guest number 1, and then as the others come on, we'll give them a little introduction again, just to refresh a bit as the others come on, and get guidance from our first guest, of course, who we know and the imaginary attendees love quite a bit. So yes, tonight, 3 guests, and one of them is an author of the amazing and thought-provoking Machine Civilization novels and also stories, and he's the editor of the Tales from the Lemurverse anthologies. And this is the one and only Clayton Barnett. And then coming up after him is an editor and author of the Prospero's Daughter trilogy and the books of Unexpected Enlightenment, following the adventures of Rachel Griffin. And she will be appearing on our show for the very first time, Jagi Lamplighter. And then if that's not enough, we also have Grathew, whose work has appeared in multiple anthologies, including our Marathonarium 2 and soon Marathonarium 3. And so we have 3 very, very talented writers with you today. But coming in hot first is the one and only Clayton Barnett. Clayton, you should be on.
I'm hoping that you're able to hear me, and I'm not.
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
In that case, I'll back away from the mic a little bit. That's not reverberating, is it?
You sound good.
Nope, you are not reverberating.
Okay, it just sounds a little odd in my headset.
No, you sound clear.
As Stephen pointed out, that I'm basically going to give a very short précis of how this particular project came about, and then we'll turn it over to writers who have 10 to 20 times more skill than I probably ever will in my life. Like all good fairy stories, this starts with Once Upon a Time. Last summer, the original 5 lemurs put together an anthology called In the Midst of a River, and thinking that we could do more after Imaginarium, we talked about it some more, and around November began work on a second anthology, this time based around the character of Counterrevolution. And we were getting some stories in and getting some good ideas. And then around January 10th or 12th, by accident, I saw a podcast by, how is it pronounced? Asmund and Gold, and also by the podcasts of the Loaders Eaters, especially Sargon of Akkad. And they were discussing this odd little propaganda game, technically a visual novel, that was put out by the UK Home Office as a deliberate piece of propaganda to attempt to de-radicalize specifically white males between the ages of 11 and 22. As a part of this incredibly poorly coded game, the antagonist is a young woman in the player's junior college, and she's an adorable lavender-haired little goth girl. And the problem is she has noticed reality. She wonders, why is our country in the UK being overrun by foreigners? Why are we putting them in 4-star hotels while our servicemen and women are living on the streets and starving to death? What in the world is going on? And the purpose of the game, it's got kind of a little life meter, for lack of a better term, is the protagonist. If you start paying attention to this girl, you go from green to yellow to red as you become radicalized. And God forbid you actually go to a protest with her, because then the grown-ups in the room will take you aside and say, we're going to throw you out of college if you keep doing this. Okay, silly premise. Cute girl. And that was what happened next, is almost within days, so call it January 15th, I started noticing some CGI, although everybody says AI these days, but still images. And then I started seeing movie shorts, animated shorts. And then after that, a flood of music videos and interviews with this Amelia character. And it went from a dozen to hundreds to thousands now. There are content creators who simply use the Amelia image to advance their particular agenda. And while my wife does assume that I'm fairly stupid, I'm not completely stupid. So I was able to realize this is not merely an internet phenomenon. This is some cultural threshold or high tide mark. And this is going to be something other than else. So I contacted my colleagues, the Lemurs, which is the name of our writing circle, and said, we're shelving Cardophilus for now, and we're going to write an anthology about Amelia. And almost all of them went, who? What are you talking about? So I gathered together some of that information, forwarded it out, and from January 20th to about the start of March, we put together a series of an introduction, some poetry, short stories, a great deal of line art. I had to bribe my cover designer in Germany to push me to the top of her list, just like a certain copy editor I know in Kentucky is expecting a bottle of Blanton's, because I said, you have to put us at the top of your copy editing list. But because it's a fundamentally internet-driven phenomenon, y'all well know that these things can disappear in the blink of an eye.
Yes.
And so I set, for the first time ever, a hard date of, we need to be published, this story loose in the wild, by April 1st. And things were clicking along until March 29th, when I somewhat accidentally had my second seizure, ended up in the hospital with a broken back. And fortunately, several of the other lemurs, and especially Mr. Joe Eisenberg, clarified and resolved a lot of problems we were having with the ISBNs. So we did release the EPUB version on the 1st. I was able to complete the prep work for the paperback version 36 hours later. And from a standing start, in 2.5 months, we have taken advantage, bluntly, of this emergent cultural phenomenon. And yes, on the front cover, it says edited by Clayton Barnett. And I do contribute one minor story. But that just meant I tried very, very hard to stay out of other people's way and let them amaze us with their creativity. To that end, there are 2 other guests, and the first, Jagi Lamplighter, who is a very accomplished authoress in her own right, has the lead story in the anthology, because you always want to lead hard and finish hard. And that's why I'm in the middle, because I'm not that good. And
Oh,
as
stop.
she'll discuss, Jagi very cheekily borrowed one of her own favorite characters, a delightful little sorceress, and inserted it into the Amelia mythos. Concluding, we have the author Grathew, and his story is much more somber. It takes place present day, present time, but it's a little darker. I would almost call it Arthurian in its take of revitalizing not just Britain, but the Western civilization as a whole. So that's how we started. That's how we ended. Had some amazing stories, except for mine, in the middle. Great deal. Every story ends with artwork. The cover art's fantastic. And to do all that we have has been utterly humbling to me. I have worked with the most amazing people, this most amazing team, and am absolutely blessed by it. That's
That's
all.
amazing. And I do want to point out that this, I know you call it CGI, AI. Amelia was this AI being, right? A generated character that yeah, it became a cultural phenomenon, and it could show you how fast that feelings toward these beings can develop and follow just from creating one character. So it's pretty amazing, and that you all got together and was able to do this anthology of this type. I don't think I've ever read, or been around another anthology of this type. It's quite unique.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting phenomenon this day and age. Yeah, because you had a character that was presented as a creation, as you said, by a government entity, and then it was embraced. And then the script flipped on what it represented once it resonated, with large sectors of the public. And obviously the issue over in Europe is has a lot of controversy surrounding it, but you guys have really reflected, I think, a lot of nuance, a lot of depth in it, and I think the stories really get at a lot of the pathos and through the characters, and gives you the ability to kind of see it, for us here in the States, even some of the things that are going on over there right now. And so I think it's a very interesting and very thought provoking work, and the writing, and yeah, you included, Clayton, excellent. I mean, it's really excellent writing, and glad to see it's off the ground.
And it is a very hard subject to write in, and I commend you all during these times of political unrest and people on all sides of the fence. So it is hard to do, and I've seen friendships destroyed. I've seen you know which is silly and it isn't, but I think everybody should have the freedom to voice their, opinion or write about it, and people don't have to read the book if they're not interested. It didn't let you forcing them or holding a weapon to their head. So, it's up to them. So, we should have the freedom to write what we want. Book burning should never be a thing. It should have never been, and it should never be again.
Right. And so yeah, it's definitely a very it came together quick, but it came together with quality, for sure. And yeah, definitely yeah, what a group.
The
And
lemurs are fun. They're
yeah,
fun. They
they
come
are a
to
fun group.
Imaginarium, packing their lemurs. And Clayton, you've got a new member now of your furry friends. You've got 3 lemurs now that you bring in tow.
There's
At
the
least so
third
far,
three.
yes. I'm still hoping we can get Joe Eisenberg to dress up as one.
Oh my God, that would be
Ah, that'd
priceless.
be great. That'd be great.
He
We
could
have to
win.
get
He
this
could
done.
he could possibly win the cosplay contest. Yeah.
It's fantastic. That is
Very,
fantastic.
very possible. And yeah, and who knows? Maybe this will. I know you guys have had some chart success over on Amazon.
Yes. Want to talk about your stats?
Yeah, and you guys have done really well launching it. It's gotten quite a bit of traction already.
Yes, Joe did run some numbers, and the problem is I'm now slogging through my emails to find that.
I want to say that it was
Is
like in
that when we released this, Amelia Counterrevolution stood at 9th place in both British short stories and political science, privacy, and surveillance. As
Nice.
of writing earlier today, it is in 16th place in British short stories, 13th place in political science, and still rising on their sales lists. Originally, when it was released, it was in 2nd place. And again, from a standing start to do this in 2.5 months is a testament to them, not to me.
Well, hey, but you have been having to deal, without getting into all the details. I know you're not going to want to share it, but yeah, you have been facing some, health challenges. I'll just leave it at that. And so, yeah, you don't sell yourself short. You pulled off
Right. You
quite a
pulled
bit.
off a feat. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. But we're glad to hear you sounding like yourself again, all chipper again. So, but do you want to bring aboard our guest number 2 at this point, Clayton? What's your thoughts?
Yes, we should at this point. Are you going to do a introduction
Can do.
Or would you like to, as from your end, because you have read 6 out of 9 of her books, so
far, yes. I honestly don't remember exactly how we encountered one another. I think another lemur had reached out to her for a different anthology, and she was very enthusiastic about this project. Again, she and her husband are absolutely top-notch professional writers, and it is very much our pleasure to work with her and have her have the headline story of this second anthology. Having said all that, today say this, please welcome aboard Jagi Lamplighter.
and your mic is on.
Can you hear me?
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
I'm really
We can
glad
hear
to
you.
hear
Good.
that because
Good.
I
Real good.
do a Spaces on Tuesdays. I'm one of the hosts, and they couldn't
Yeah.
hear me this week.
Oh,
Excellent.
we hear you good. Real good.
Yeah.
Good.
And we
Okay,
know
so
how it
I
goes. It
I
happens.
only ever correct people once. So if you get it wrong after this point, I'll never correct you again. But my name is Jagi, not Jaggy.
God,
It's like the
oh,
G in magic, and
we all got it wrong.
It's
I was
it's too
saying it
it's too
wrong
late,
too.
Jackie. There's
everybody
too much
does.
water
And
under the bridge.
Jagi.
that's what I say.
Jagi.
I correct people once, and then after I have plenty of friends who just call me Jaggy all the time because they met me this
We will work
online and
on it.
they never got it.
Jagi.
Jaji. Jaji.
But
Got it.
Jagi.
Got it.
I have
Jagi.
great sympathy because my husband and I, for decades, have referred to the castle in England where King Arthur was conceived as Tintagel, but it's Tintagel.
Yeah.
It's such a shock to mispronouncing
I
it so
know.
horribly. So this is similar. But if it's a help, it actually came from the word magic originally. So, that's Jaja. It's
Well,
got that. But it's okay.
don't
I'm only
don't feel
mentioning it
bad.
once. We can move on. So,
We
I'm
can.
happy either way.
But well, I
So
was going to say real quick, it's the difference between Bram and Bram Stoker. I said Bram Stoker for years, and
yeah.
people have for like 100 years, and then Dacre, who we're friends with now, that comes to Dacre Stoker, that comes to Imaginarium. He's the great. I'll get it right here in a minute. Uh,
Great
grand
grandnephew.
nephew, yes,
Mhm.
of the late Bram. I want to say
Oh,
Bram Stoker. It's like
yeah.
Abraham,
Yeah.
Bram. It's Bram Stoker, not Bram. And
My
so, yeah, it's hard.
My roommate in college was the great niece of the man who wrote The Maltese Falcon,
Yeah,
and his name was Dashiell Hammett. Everybody calls him Dashiell, but her brother was William Dashiell. Dashiell was how it
just
was
chill.
pronounced.
See, that's the same thing. Yeah, you find
You
out from
just
the
don't
family
know.
member that's like, oh my God, I've
Yeah,
said it wrong
yeah.
all this time.
Yep. I've done it.
Anyway,
That's
let me
true.
let me quickly tell my story about how I got involved with
Yes.
this.
Sure.
So, some years ago, I decided I wanted to go to England and Scotland, and I planned it for the far future year of 2025 because I thought my kids were going to have all graduated from college. Poor fool I. And of course, some of them took years off and changed schools, and so it didn't happen. So my original idea, which was that I'd be free to spend money, to go somewhere, it didn't quite work out. But by the grace of God, I got there anyway. So I came back from this trip to England, which was just a trip to go visit places that are in books I've already written or plan to write with some friends. And I was worried about England. I mean, I love the culture there so much, and it's getting kind of downplayed by certain forces. Some parts not, but some parts yes.
Right.
So when I came upon this pretty purple-haired girl in a video put out by Huff for Congress, who said, I'd never heard of any of this. He said, I told Grok to look at all the Amelia memes, and this is what he made. This is what Grok made. I don't think he said he. Um, and it's this girl, and she looks at the camera, she says, hello, I'm Amelia, and I love England. And my heart just melted. I thought she was great. Only after that did I start looking into it and find out about pathways. I've actually played the game. When I was writing my story, I played the game a number of times so that I could take actual lines out of the game and slip them into the story. And I listened to other people podcast about her and stuff, but that was my introduction. His videos on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, are just fantastic. And he just had their wonderful Amelia videos. And I was so delighted that somebody was speaking up for British culture, something I've loved and studied since I was a tiny kid, because my mom went and studied ballet and speaking in English in London, and my
Uh-huh.
grandmother went to, I think, Cambridge. She went to either Oxford or Cambridge back in the 20s. So, it's something my whole life has been about. I've loved this country. I've studied the history. I've written about it. My main character, Rachel Griffin, is British. So I was delighted that somebody was defending her, but I'd also discovered Grok video, Grok Imagine, that you can make videos. So for fun, I made a video where Amelia was holding up my book cover because I thought it was cute, and I got yelled at by someone I know online saying you should never use one of these icons for selling things. So I said, okay, I'm going to make a video that's more to the purpose. So I made a video where she met my main character, Rachel Griffin, and in my novels, there's a lion who, in the original story, the original role playing game my books are based on, was named Aslan, but he's got a different name. So I threw the lion in the video, and it was the first time I've ever done anything like this. I thought it was really fun, even though mine was very cheesy. So the next day, I'm pretty sure it was a post about the base book sale, which is a sale for indie book authors. Someone made a comment, and I don't even remember which lemur it was. Somebody made a comment about the Amelia anthology, and I was like, me, pick me, I want to do. So, and I got a note from Clayton saying, come on in. And so I wrote a story version of my little video that I had made. The story obviously has a lot more to it than my, 30-second video. But it was really fun, and the people were, so great. All these guys were so great. And I cannot tell you, I mean, I'm sure it's much more disturbing for poor Clayton, but I cannot tell you how disturbing it is to be talking to this wonderful guy, and then suddenly he's in the hospital and has a broken back. I've been praying away here for him. But these guys were great to work with. I was really impressed with how quickly they turned things around. I haven't had a chance to read the other stories. I live in Virginia and I work for the election board when there's an election. So I've been working a lot. Normally I'm a writer and an editor, but this month I've been busy. So I'd like to at some point try to read the other stories. But anyway, that's my basics there.
Well, and I must say, I am a huge fan of British culture and the monarchy. I even named my daughter after Princess Diana, who
Oh,
I adore and will always adore. And yeah, so and Stephen knows he makes fun of me because I tell you, normally I'm watching about serial killers or true crime or something, but I am a sucker for good British dramas, and
yeah.
I love British. We both love British
especially
comedy and British. I mean, I'm
especially
all about the
Victorian,
British shows. Yes, love it,
especially
love
Victorian
stories.
era. Yeah,
Yes, I
Hollywood go
love
back. Yeah,
Victorian.
Victorian.
Queen
Me
And
too. Me
Victoria
too. I
is
spent a lot of time once studying the Victorian period. And
oh
I wrote 3/4 of a romance set in the 1880s
ooh.
years ago that I never finished. It was one
Oh,
of
well,
these Buccaneer stories. American heiress comes and marries a lord, and then doesn't really know how to, she has to learn how to handle what's going on.
oh,
And
nice.
it was actually, my husband and I had a contest, and I think I eventually won this contest. But we had come up with this great scene, and we're like, okay, we're going to have a contest, and the first person to put this scene in a story wins. And the idea was that a young woman was trying to cast a love spell on herself to make herself fall in love with her husband, and that was
Ah,
part of the background for the audacity of her, the romance I never finished. But because of that, I'd studied all this Victorian stuff, and it colors everything I do. You know what I mean? Like right
yeah,
now, I'm writing two Regency fantasy romances. They're in the same
nice.
background as
nice.
Rachel Griffin, but they're 200 years earlier. And even
Yeah.
that, I mean, the Regency stuff and the Victorian stuff, it's different, but it's also the same, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
oh,
Parts
I
of
love
it
it. Yeah,
overlap.
I love the Regency period
And
too. Yes,
I just love that whole period. I love
yeah,
the
I do too.
architecture. I love the
Yes.
Victorian dresses. I'm not so keen
Oh,
on the Regency dresses, but it's all beautiful.
yeah, the Victorian and oh gosh, but our cats, you're gonna love the name of
You're
our
gonna love it.
cats.
You're gonna love
We have
this.
3 tuxedo cats, and I said, and their names fit them well because Queen Victoria is always going to be my beloved prince. I mean, my beloved queen. So our kitty cats are named Prince Albert, Queen Victoria, and Prince Leopold.
Oh, those are wonderful.
Yeah.
I will. I don't want to hog the time. I want other people to be able to go, but I'll say one last thing. I have a
Oh, you're
cat
fine.
too.
Yeah, you're fine.
I have a
Yeah,
cat
go.
too, and we are big fans of Chincoteague Island. We spent a lot of time on Chincoteague. So at one point we had two cats, but one has since passed away, and one was named
Oh,
Chincoteague, and the other was named Assateague Island. She's an all black cat, and Assateague Island is too long to say, so we shortened it to Aslan
there you
Nice.
go.
with a D on the end,
Yeah.
And
I
so
love
she's
it.
been Aslan ever since.
I love it.
Well,
Oh, so do you call the cat the full name Queen Victoria every time you call her? Or does she have a
I
nickname?
do when she does something I don't want her to do. I'll say Queen Victoria. But use our little pet names are Vicky, Albert, and then Leon because Leopold was my daughter's cat actually, and we inherited him, and so she called him Leon for short for Leopold. Where she
Better.
got that, I don't know, but yeah, we call him Leon.
That's
yeah,
great. That's great.
but
The
yeah, they're
lion in my novel, who also appears in my short story, is called Leander.
yeah. I
Nice.
was yeah, I was wondering
Appropriate.
about the lion in your story in this anthology because
Yeah.
my roots as a fantasy author were C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
obviously Aslan is near and dear to me, and also faith
The
wise, that's
the
near and
ve-
dear to me. But
the
yeah, your
very
lion, I was like, I mean, I loved it.
the very brief explanation of the books of unexpected enlightenment is this. I have a friend who grew up playing in role playing games that my husband and I ran. A few years ago, he turned the tables and ran a game for us, and it was based on a game I had designed. I had designed a Harry Potter game for my kids, and he took it and ran it for a friend, and then he ran it for us. And the concept that he had was it's Harry Potter's world. It was 25 years later, and he stole from me the idea that all the students were magic people from other stories. So
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
like he put in characters from Marvel. He put in characters from everywhere. But my character's roommate was Lucy Pevensey, and her familiar was this tiny lion.
Nice.
It Let me just say, you can't. He did one other thing too. He said he didn't see any Christianity in Harry Potter. There's a little in the last book. There's a Bible quote, but he didn't notice it. So he decided there was no God, no Jesus, no angels, no demons, because someone had hidden it all. So, here we are in this world that has no Christianity, no Muslims, no Jews, and my roommate is Aslan. So slowly we began the same way a muggle might discover the wizarding world. We began to discover this world of angels and demons and heaven and all these other things.
Oh, neat.
And we didn't know until a point well after where I've gotten to in the book, because it's a game run by someone else. We didn't know whose story was true. So when the eerie
Ah,
creatures from
okay.
beyond said, "Your God is just a rebel from us," we didn't know if that was true or not until this one scene where our characters were in a very dire situation at the edge of the universe and Aslan showed up. And
Ah.
it was suddenly clear that he was real and they were not.
That's
John and I
fun.
looked at each other and we said, someone should write this up.
Yeah. And there you go.
So I thought, I'll do it. I had a lot of the stuff was email. So the email stuff is easy to, well, I didn't
Right.
think it through that there were two major drawbacks with this project. Major drawback number one is that my character had the magic power that you happen to get if you bought it your powers a certain way that I had made up when my son was 7. He's
Oh.
almost 27 now, so it was a while ago, which was perfect memory. Perfect memory is not a good thing to give your character in a long series if you're an author.
That's true.
That is true.
That's true.
Don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was hard enough for Severian for Gene Wolfe, but that was only like 3 or 4 books. I
Yeah.
have to reread the whole series to make sure I don't contradict something she thought in a
Yeah.
previous.
Uh,
Right. Right.
So that was the one hard thing. The other hard thing was I hadn't thought through the fact that there are 50, 75, 150 characters from other stories.
Whew.
I now have to make up a new world because they were all gathered from other worlds and brought and turned into kids and put at magic school. I have to now
Oh,
make up the other worlds too.
right. Oh my goodness.
So it's a huge project, you see. And when I went to write the Amelia story, oh, this is a great idea. I sat down, I wrote the beginning, and then I'm like, how do I write a story where one character is clearly a Christian and the other character comes from a world where no one's heard of Christianity? And I thought, well, I'll just kind of push Rachel into Amelia's world because that's the world the reader's going to be in. So, it's a little bit non-canon, but it fits. I did a pretty good job of fitting it that it could be read from either point of view. So
Oh, definitely.
anyway,
I'd have to
that
say.
that was
That is
my
cool.
Well, thank you
that
for
was
the
my
background on that. Yeah, because I was really curious
Yeah, that's
about that. Yeah,
yeah.
and the lion, which I won't say anything more because but you had
Yeah.
Stephen
mentioned the
would love to
lion.
have a little lion familiar. Well, he's
Yeah,
got three. We got three running
well,
around, but yeah.
I do have
Yeah.
three in a way,
Well,
but
one of the little things in the background, which I assume the modder made up just to stick Aslan in there, but I kept it, was that they had a magic power to shrink wild animals so you could have like little bears and little elephants and stuff as your
Oh my
familiars.
God, that's
It's a cute little
fantastic.
thing.
that
Oh
sounds
my
like
gosh, that is so cool.
So
yeah.
anyway,
Have a little elephant.
yeah, I'm really grateful to the Lemurs for inviting me in and including me in their conversations about, trying to spread the word. And I'd love to come to the convention. I really have no idea. We still have 1 year of trying to get our son through college. I have no
Yeah,
idea what the
that's
finances are going to be like. But if it's possible,
I
I
understand.
haven't written it off yet, and it might be a
Yeah,
lot more possible next year than it would be this year. This year
Oh,
is.
we'd love to
yeah,
see you.
I mean,
We
yeah.
would.
We'd
We'd
love
God
love
to
to
see
see
it
willing,
you.
he'll
because
actually graduate, and then the kids will actually be out of college, and then it will be a little more realistic to be able
Yeah,
to
it'd be a
undertake
little bit
other
easier.
projects. So
yeah,
I
I'm
get
not
that.
sure, but I haven't given up. I also have a good friend who's been in Japan with her husband, and they may move to Kentucky because that's where he's from.
Ooh.
So
nice.
should they come back, they're supposed to come back from Japan. Her family lives in Georgia, but if they end up there, that would be all the more motivation to get out there, or even just to go out with them and visit, their family, and then go to the
Yeah.
convention.
Oh,
They're
that'd be
also
fun.
con goers, so they'll probably be like happy to come. So anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Next year, I'll try to pencil it in for next year. This year, I haven't written it out. I just have to see
Well,
what happens. So
Well,
and another,
fingers
hey, I'll
crossed. Yeah.
entice you. I'll entice you because we
Uh-oh.
have gaming all 3 days, and you could run an RPG of your game
I
at
could.
the Imaginarium.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I've done things like that before. That could be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I
it'll be
have
fun.
my one last thing before I bow out. But I have a website for my school. It's at Roanoke Academy. It is a WIC website, and on it I have the rules for the game. It says enroll, and it has the rules for the game. I mean, they're very simple rules because of the way we play, but it's how to make up a character. So,
Oh,
it
neat.
has other stuff. The website has all sorts of pictures of rooms and information about background stuff. I put it together some
Nice.
years ago. I
Oh, that's
did it
fun.
because in the early days of internet, I would rush to the website of some author I loved, and I was always disappointed because I was like, I want to see more about the world I love, But I would
Sure.
always
Right,
want
right,
what they had for dinner. So when I
right.
put together this magic school, I made a website for the magic school. And I don't know that it has that much information that's not in the books, but it at least gives you something to look at. And it's actually put together,
Oh,
claims it's put together by a character from the story and things like that. So
well,
it's fun.
that's
Oh,
fun.
yeah,
I like that a
I do
lot.
too.
It reminds me of PC Cast and Kristen, her daughter, wrote a House of Night series. It's a vampiric world, but they turn into vampires when they're like 13. They get the sign on their head shows up, the tattoo. Anyway, they're also witches, right? And they have familiars, which are cats that choose them at the House of Night and everything. But it's an academy like that, and they've done similar things. They've got like a whole canon around the House of Night itself. The academy, and they've got like workbooks that go along with it and all kinds of neat
Yeah.
stuff too. So that's what I love that, because see, I'm a fan, so I get that. I love that because you get to peek in a world that you love, and you get to dip your toe in it and have a little fun yourself. Immersing yourself in that world. I love it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let me pass it on. I don't want to take time from the
Well,
last.
thank
No,
you,
you're
thank
great.
you.
I've been looking
Yes.
forward to talking with you, and you can almost hire Clayton as one of your publicists, because let me tell you, he's been talking to me about what a great writer you are, and
I am
yes.
delighted with him too. So it's a mutual admiration.
Well,
All right.
thank
Well,
you.
thank you, darling. And yeah, we got to get old Grathew in here before he takes a
Oh
nap.
yes, we are. You take care, and we'll have you back on the
Thank
show
you.
sometime in
Oh,
the
I
near
Yes,
love
future.
that.
yes.
All righty. And let's
All
see.
right.
Should I have Clayton come on real quick, since we let him give
Go ahead.
uh,
See if
Jagi?
Clay's awake.
Hey,
He's awake.
I've got
Hey,
it right.
Clay.
I'm slightly
Jagi,
awake. Yes,
I got it
my
right too.
wife's
Jagi.
already terrified by the idea that she's going to have to be carrying my carcass up the stairs to go to bed in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. No,
We're
we've got a
thinking
little.
about getting one of those electronic chairlifts put in, just because, when you've got my medical problems,
Yes.
it's not exactly like they're going to fix
Well,
themselves.
Right. Right.
don't let it run like the one that Mrs. Deagle had
And
in
the
Gremlins.
gremlins.
That
Oh,
was not didn't work out too well.
yeah.
Well, having said all that, to say this, like
Introduce
with
your
so many
writer.
other of the lemurs,
Yes.
Grathew is one of our best, one of our originals, and his specialization has always been world building. And while he's not yet published a novel, he's published scads of short stories, and he's been on
Mhm.
several podcasts related to world building. And he gets into detail, but it doesn't ever become boring minutiae. It's something that, as Jagi was saying, it allows you a greater granularity in a story and can help become very immersive for a reader.
Right.
And that's why his contribution to In the Midst of a River, his contributions to Marathonarium, his upcoming contributions to the Cardophilus anthology, and as I said, his moody, somewhat Arthurian closeout for Amelia Counterrevolution. I learned when I was a teenager, there's an old quote that, how do you hurt a man who has nothing? Give him back something broken. And that's sort of the premise of where Grath's main character in his story begins. And then he takes it somewhere miraculous. And we are so fortunate to have someone like him as a part of our stories.
All right, that's an excellent
Wow.
introduction, and we will bring him
Fantastic.
in right now. And your microphone is on, Grath. There, welcome.
Hello?
He's there. Should
He's
be.
there.
We
It
hope.
says he's there.
Yeah, it says he's there. We got your mic on, Grath. Go ahead. Oh no.
Oh, no. Well,
Is
you
he,
may
is he,
have to go
is
out
he,
and come back in, because that fixed mine.
is he the one with the tech? He's going to be the one with the tech problem, Holly.
That's gonna be
Okay.
our well, we really wanted to hear it. Let him see
No,
he's going out
he's
and
coming
coming
back.
back.
He's coming
Okay,
back.
now
I'm not
let's
worried.
see.
There he is. There we are.
There he is.
We hear you.
Hooray.
Hooray. Good to have you, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Clayton oversold me as usual.
No, I'm familiar with this story. Yeah, you described it pretty well. So yeah, no, it's what he said it is. Yeah.
So
Well,
tell us
welcome.
a little bit about it.
Yeah, and
We
you
want to
do
hear.
need to get on all of Holly's world building panels, because I'm telling you, you know your
Yes.
stuff when it comes to world building. So
I
yeah,
would be more than honored to participate.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the nuances and the Arthurian, as Clayton said, he's found the Arthurian aspects of your story.
I can see where he got that from. A bit of a confession. I wrote this entire thing in about 6 hours because Clayton said, I need Amelia stories now. And everyone's sitting here going, who's Amelia? I turned all of my basically communication off and just wrote. It's a lot more autobiographical than one would likely expect. It starts out with a man coming home to see his parents and realizing things are changing, right? Which I'm sure has happened to everyone, right? You go back to where you grew up and it's not the same place anymore, right?
Right.
May have been 5 minutes, may have been 5 years, but things are different. And he doesn't like it, as many of us tend not to. And it kind of builds this confusion and this anger. And then, well, then you get to the climax. And I don't want to spoil it, so you have to buy the book and read it.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't. Yes, that would be too much of a spoiler. Yeah.
It would be, but it builds, and I have seen some people kind of comment that, like, man, it starts out really dark and gritty. It's like, yeah, have you gone outside and really taken it in, like gone back to where you grew up and seen just how different it is and been like, no, I don't like this. It's supposed to be this way, and it's not. That's the entire, like, I tried to capture that, and I think I did a good job of it because, you know, the world's changing. We got to make sure it changes the right way. And more importantly, we got to make sure we don't lose ourselves while we either try to correct the changes we see as wrong or, you know, promote the changes we see as good in the world. It's no point trying to leave your mark if you don't know who you are in the first place.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, there's some very quotable things in just that what you just said there, for sure. But no, yeah, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and certainly, you know, as you make corrections, you don't want to overreach, and there's
Lose
a lot
yourself.
to it. Yeah, and then lose yourself in the process.
Yeah, because that's
And
easily
things
do. I
mean
mean,
a
as
lot to
we
you. Yeah.
as we develop as a society on a whole, um, you know, it's so rapidly changing now, especially with technology, right? I mean, it's so fast, and the development of all the CGI and the AI. I mean, it's incredibly just mind-boggling what it's going to look like, the landscape in 5 years. And then you add all the cultural climate and things going on and the wars and, you know, and the disagreements and everything, and it's too bad everybody can't, you know, get on board and agree and have a good end, a good outcome. But as we know, that doesn't typically happen. So it's usually, you know, there's always going to be bad, which sucks. But we have to try to move forth as a you know, as a group of people, yet retain some of our cultural aspects that we hold beloved and that makes us who we are as a people.
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely. So you get this done in 6 hours, and well, kudos to you. Because by the time I got to look over it, I mean, it was in pretty good shape, and like as I said to you when I wrote you back. So what did you think of this whole process of how? Because like I said, there were a lot of moving parts to this in a little over 2 months, from conception to print copies. I mean, it's blazing fast in the book world.
I think Clayton needs to slow down before he falls over again.
yes.
But other than that,
We agree.
I think I was more involved than perhaps some of the other writers, because Clayton kept asking me, what do we do with this? What do you think of this cover? Hey, I got this. What's your take on that? I don't know if it's because I'm the youngest member of the Lemurs by a decade or two, or if it's because he's happened to have read my story and went, yep, this is the guy. He needs to be more involved. Whatever it is, I'm glad I was, because I will say the initial cover was a bit more malicious than I think anyone would have wanted.
Yeah, I think the cover ended up looking really good, and
it's
certainly,
cool.
yeah, Holly is never going to disapprove of a goth looking individual.
No,
that's right up her alley.
I think it came out quite well.
And but yeah, it's it is a process. Normally, it's something that you get a little more time to ponder everything. But yeah, just all these parts came together, and everything seems to, at least from my perspective, it all fits. And to be chosen for, I'll tell you from my perspective, having known many editors and publishers and been a part of many anthology projects in various ways. The opening story and the closing story, I mean, those are very carefully chosen. So yeah, that's definitely an honor. Yeah, to be the closer. Yeah, on this. Yeah, and with Jagi on the front side.
Yeah, as much as I'll
Yeah.
give Clayton, as much as I'll rub Clayton the wrong way for it, I am humbled to have been chosen not once but twice to close out our anthologies. It's especially for In the Midst of the River was the first time I had ever been published in any meaningful form. So the fact that I've now done it twice either means I should, I guess, start my career as an author, however difficult that may be.
No, I think you've already started. I think it's well started already.
Yeah, I think you've got a pretty good start.
Well, then I guess I need to finish my Marathoronium submission.
Yeah.
I know I'm running late on that. Things
no,
have
you're
been
not.
busy.
You're not. End of May is when I need those.
End of May. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, you're publishing those too. And
so let me ask you. So what do you find that you enjoy so much about being a part of anthology, more so than like a standalone? What draws you to the whole anthology aspect?
That's a much more complicated question than it may first seem. I want to write my own piece of work. However, when it comes to being a critic of one's work, I think I'm perhaps the worst of any of us here. I know perhaps even most of the listeners are either authors or author adjacent. I write something, I'll get 2, 3, 4 chapters in, I'll get 20,000 words in, and I'll look at it and I'll reread it just to do a editing pass on like the first chunk before I send it to like Clayton or someone to be like, hey, read this. This is the start of something. I think I have something. I'll reread it. I'm like, this is crap. Like I did all this wrong and I'll try fixing it. And then I'll be like, nah, I don't like this anymore. And then I'll move to the next project. And I've been learning so much. And I think part of it is I keep trying to write things that I feel are important for the now. Much like this Amelia thing, Clayton used the phrase, we're chasing the comet. Hopefully we might catch it, a dozen or 2 dozen times in the correspondence leading up to this. And he's correct, but I feel like I keep doing that and I need to sit down and find something where I can just write the thing and publish it and just be like, no, this is evergreen. This is something I want to put out. And I have too many terrible ideas and too many good ideas to actually end up doing something. My Toastmasters Club has deduced the same thing. You have too many speech ideas. Stop taking speaking slots. Let other people talk. Like, well, I do sign up rather late most of the time. Like I'm printing off the agendas like 20 minutes before the meeting starts and there's an open speaker slot. I'm going to take it, just saying. Very rarely when I know I have a speech I want to give, I'll select it a week or 2 ahead of time.
Well, as an organizer, we appreciate those people that fill in the gaps in the last minute.
Yes.
When content is needed. So.
You better believe it.
If you ever need someone to rant about something, give me a topic, 20 minutes to Google things, and however long you need me to fill time.
Nice.
Well, don't threaten me with a good time, because being the program, coordinator, that's dangerous, because I may say, hey.
As long as I get a cut of the popcorn commissions, I'll be good.
Oh, well, there you go. That's important.
No, that is important, most certainly. But
I love that you admitted that. It's like the imposter syndrome, right? Which affects every single creative out there. Whether they like to admit it or not, and it's no matter what you put out, it's never going to be good enough for you. ever. I don't care how clean or polished or whatever it is, it's never going to be up to your standard.
Yeah.
You just have to put your best work forward, and let your editor take it, and work through it, and that's all you can do, because you could keep editing yourself into a black hole and it will never be good enough,
I
and
I
and it's hard.
I talk about that as the eternal revision syndrome, and
Yeah.
every author can fall into that trap. I mean, because yeah, you can every time you read, there's always something you want to little tweak just a little bit, or something that you want to add
Uh-huh.
here, you want to do there, and it's then I've always explained to it with artists, authors that I've started working with as an editor or been a little bit of a mentor or author coach with. I've always told the trick is just getting to the point where you recognize that point that okay, here's what I need to hand it off to my editor or my publisher or whoever that is. That you get that sense, and so you can break out of that loop, because I have known authors that we're working on the same book 10 years later, and they just could not stop that loop of revise, and yeah, it is a a thing. And so yeah, eventually you have to just get that sense of okay, it's I got to trust the next step in the process. And yeah, it's not always easy. It's a tough thing for some authors to sense.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with the likely related syndrome of world builder's disease, which has two very unique flavors. One where you over explain everything in the writing, where you go into super dense detail and it turns into a Wikipedia page in a book,
Right.
and people
Info dump.
everyone's just like, why are you info dumping things? What does
Yeah.
this have to do? You had a story and now you're telling me about crop rotations. What's going on? And then, and then the other one, which admittedly I may have fallen into a bit, but every time I keep revising it, it comes back as something I more want to write in, where you take the same thing and you just keep working on it and working on it. I am 10 years into 12 years into Slun Minma. I have a couple things published in it, but I every time I keep coming back to it and I like reread all my notes, I'm like, oh, if I just tweak this a little bit, tweak that a little bit, it makes a lot more sense. It makes a lot more sense, and it doesn't break anything I have. But the big thing that's running me ragged at the moment is trying to fix my naming languages and my conlangs, because I am not a conlanger by trade or by skill set. And so trying to invent a language, because this isn't Earth. Earth doesn't even exist in this universe. How do they speak? That was a rabbit hole that I shouldn't have opened. Unfortunately, I have. And I have to now suffer those consequences, because of course I'm going to need new names that no one will have any idea how to pronounce.
Hey, that's a Steven Zimmer trick.
Yeah.
I'm always like, Steven, how in the world do you pronounce this when I'm editing his book? I kind of want to know in my head exactly how it's pronounced. So I'm like, how in the world? I butcher it, of course, and he's like, no, it's this way. And, okay. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Holly has experienced that for sure, especially on the name thing. And what else drives her nuts is sometimes I'll tweak the spelling of the name that I come up with, and forget to go back and change the earlier instances of it. So that'll drive your editor nuts too.
There's a reason why you saw it. All of my things, I saw some of your notes where you crossed out something like, you did this twice. I'm like, no, one was the title that I want to leave. The other was the marker of the name that I'm replacing later.
Right.
There's a reason why it looks stupid in this draft. It looks better in the next draft.
And that's fair. Yeah, as long as you explain it to your editor, you're good. No worries.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, because I of course for Jagi, I'm who's still I think listening in there. Yeah, I'm also editor, and definitely look at things from that angle too. So I try to make my copy as good as possible for my editor, which
yes.
is Holly. But Yeah, we get that for sure, but you are building a body of short stories, so yeah, for having as you said, you want something like a book of your own. You might come out of the gate with a collection at some point, even with reprinting some of these.
Yeah,
Uh,
my current plan is to rework Chasing a Letter and then do probably five or six more kind of in that style,
mhm.
or maybe go total to 10, where it's basically dramatized journal entries as they go up and then back down the mountain, which was the entire plot, like thing that kicked off the plot of that book. So that story. So hey, it's happening now, and oh god, it's going to be a train wreck, and the Mimethorarium story would likely get inserted into the middle of that as well, as it
Nice.
is. It is the we'll just say it's the flashback to explain to the reader what would actually be happening to these poor saps once they got to the location. But we'll see if I can pull it off. That's the other thing. I always write things and I go, I can pull this off, and then I read it back tomorrow and I'm like, I did not stick that landing as well as I needed to. Maybe I
But
should try
now we're
something more
here,
less
and
speed.
yeah, it's like now we're here, so here I go.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So what is on your I'm curious then, what is on your itinerary for your next writing project now that you were able to get done with the Whirlwind of Amelia as far as your contribution? Well, I know you're finishing up the Marathonium one, but
Yep.
Yeah.
past that.
Step one is
Past
finish up
that.
the Marathonium. Should be doing that. I'll probably be doing that tomorrow, and then I have been. I can't say much, but there is a tabletop game I am writing for.
Nice.
Good, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
love it.
good fun. A lot of alt
Perfect.
history work, so that's going to be good.
Perfect for you as a world builder, 'cause that fits wonderfully with tabletop gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, that is exactly what I got hired to do, so it's good fun.
Good deal.
After that, I'm not sure. I feel like I need to put together. Yes, Clayton, I'm in Cardophilius, but I don't think there's much for me to do in that other than fixing the one name that I missed and Steven missed in my Cardophilus story. And I can't believe I missed it. It's like the second, like it's the first thing that comes up. I'm like, how did I miss this?
Oh, I got an eagle eye for those names, because Steven will change the name mid book and
Yep.
forget to go
Mhm.
back, and then I'm like, wait a minute, you had an A instead of an E. I see
Mhm.
it. I seen it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I completely messed that up. How did I miss this? It's like the third word of the short
Oh,
story.
it's so
Oh
easy to
no.
do. When you're
Yep.
the author, it's so easy to do because
Mhm.
your brain fills it in. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
So I fixed that and sent it to Clayton, so that I don't know what else I have to do in that. I'm sure Clayton will yell at me once he's more awake.
Clayton yell, no.
Not Clayton.
No.
Yeah.
He's we'll get Paige. I'd love to have Paige on to give her description to Clayton. It's one of the best I've ever heard. It's something along the lines of the crusty exterior but squishy on the inside.
It's
So I know. Remember the word squishy? She used the word,
squishy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah. so
Sounds fairly
fantastic.
accurate.
Yeah.
but yeah, Paige Zaplendam, another writer I highly recommend to
She's
listeners.
in the
Yeah.
Counterrevolution book, I think.
Mhm.
She has 2 stories. I believe it's part 1 and then part 2 comes a little bit later.
Yeah, she is. And she is also in the Marathonarium as well. So, yeah, definitely. The number 3, the one that's going to be published right before this year's convention. So, yeah, she's in that one. So, but she's a great writer of, as she describes it, clean science fiction, and definitely one to check out, folks, if you're into the sci-fi genre. But but yeah, I've always liked her description of Clayton. That's been one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
funny.
think there's a lemur that isn't a character. I have contemplated just jotting down notes from the walls of emails we send back to each other and just turning them into like a comic strip, because it could totally be a comic strip.
Oh, it's definitely could. 100%. Because I get a lot of those emails. Yes, it could 100% be a comic strip.
Yep.
So yeah, we could definitely do that. Although I think, if I'm being honest, I probably am going to do another couple of short stories, maybe put them out on my website, or maybe shop them around for submissions. I don't know. I don't like submitting things to places because I feel like I'm not going to win. But I don't know. Maybe, again, that's the imposter syndrome, and I should be like, no, I'm the greatest author of all time. You should all bow down to my glory, before Clayton then smacks me upside the head with a shoe or something.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Well, oh, man. Well, yeah, might as well. I guess I should mention, because I know that, they're out there probably too. We give a shout out to Joe Eisenberg and also S. Donovan Croft. Yeah,
Yes.
they're out there somewhere. As far as other lemurs who, have come to know their writing very well. And what a group, though. I mean, each of you has a different voice and style, and and the storytelling is top tier. I mean, in all the different styles that you have. I mean, that's what impresses me about the group. Everybody's distinctly different, but the storytelling is all, really, really good. So, I mean, it's been interesting to watch you guys grow as I call it, one of the most unique writers groups I've ever witnessed.
Oh, by far. By far.
Yeah.
I think we could also get pay-per-view on our chat logs, because
yes, you could.
We are also probably one of the most functionally dysfunctional writers groups on the entire planet.
When you guys get into some of your discussions on things, sometimes it's almost can get almost Monty Python-esque in the back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you want a good show, just have Clayton and I debate the pros and cons of book covers as a event at the Imaginarium.
Oh, we can almost do a whole track with Clayton by himself. I think a whole track of programming. Yeah. Once we move to a bigger location, it might be something we got to do.
Just give him a whole track.
Here's a
rule. The lemur throne at center.
We'll actually have to have an actual lemur throne in a specific room where the whole track takes place.
Yeah. Also, someplace where we can actually, do what we're there for and try and help people.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I think, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is something that, we reiterate often on the show, is that, writers groups that are constructively trying to help each other, who will tell people what they need to hear. Like when Holly edits me, she'll tell me what I need to hear.
I do.
Doesn't hold back. But it's always done in a spirit of helping you get better, and I've noticed that about you guys. I mean, it's definitely a group that really has a lot of camaraderie, but you guys are always pushing each other, and that's, I think, a good trait, good example, for a healthy writers group.
And I think one of the things that makes our group more unique is that instead of just being like, no, we only help each other. We have, I think we have a table this year too. I know we did last year.
Yeah, there's two together, and I think one's the Iowa adjacent bunch, the big Iowa brigade coming in,
as I've started calling them,
and then the lemurs. Yeah, I think there's
the lemurs and the lorises, and last year we had a couple people come up with manuscripts like, oh, I need help. I got one girl unstuck because she came up, she asked Joe a history question, and then they realized it was a world building question. And much like in a Monty Python skit where everyone then turns and glares at the one guy who's just kind of ignoring the world in the corner, they all turned to me and like, huh? What did you say? Yes, okay. Let me help you unstick yourself, because you're clearly overthinking this.
Yeah. No, I get it, and I've seen that happen, and I was just chuckling too, because I just saw Clayton comments from the chat room. He says, "My calling is dragging writers kicking and screaming across the publishing finish line." That's kind of true. Yeah, he tends to do that, and he's definitely one that wants to see people, finish and get published, and
Yep.
and that's a good thing, because I think that gives, like, a writer that like yourself, that's, you've just started getting your first publishing credits. It does give you that a little bit of that boost, to realize that yes, you can do it, and you can finish projects and move forward with things that you have in store.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Clayton has marked me as a success story yet. He will probably say something snarky in the chat.
Yeah. Well, you've closed 2 anthologies, and that's not
I
something
have.
many veteran short story writers cannot say that.
It's true.
Yeah. So, yeah.
As much as I would like to take the credit for it, I think Clayton's just yes.
He says, of the people I know, Grathew is one of them.
Yes, I certainly am, Clayton.
Classic Clayton right there.
But yes, I'm honored that I got to close both anthologies, and then, like, I know it's something that I know a lot of people probably haven't gotten to done.
Right.
Although,
no, it's true. Yeah, good writers, and I'm not. Yeah, I'm talking about a lot of very established writers. Can't say they've closed 2 anthologies or had that slot.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah, that's definitely a feather in your
That's
cap.
a privilege. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It is quite the honor, although one I still am unsure if I'm actually deserving of. Perhaps if I.
You wouldn't. Yeah, Clayton. They wouldn't have agreed to it. Clayton.
No, not Clayton.
No,
I've known Clayton long enough to know that he's.
No, you are definitely deserving. Yes.
So if I get the hat trick, I'll add it to the conspiracy of people, or should I say, lemurs?
I was gonna say, conspiracy, that fits with the lemurs, because a group of lemurs, of course, is a conspiracy. So
that's it.
That is awesome. Yeah, I love that. And now you guys are up to 3 stuffed lemurs in your road show. So I was
good.
happy. I'm still proud I brought the first one in, though. So
yes, we found the first one.
So I will always treasure that experience.
Mew,
yes. So, but is there anything else that you would like to discuss about your story, or have we covered what you're hoping to mention?
I think we covered all of it. While Clayton advertised it as present day, I pictured it more as Victorian.
Ooh.
More of that, like, industrial revolution kind of. He left before the industry arrived, and now it came back after the industry. At least that was more of the era that I was thinking of. Yet it is.
I see that.
Mm-hmm. It is in a way timeless, which I think plays into its charm.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
As having read it, as from the copy edit standpoint, I would say yes. That definitely has. I think that it could be put into any era in a lot of ways. Obviously there's some trappings that give it a little identity in a certain place and time, but I think that would definitely fits. So I do reinforce your thoughts on that. Yeah, for sure. But man, and wishing you all the best going ahead.
Yes.
I know, definitely exciting about the tabletop project, and certainly I already know the Marathonarium story you've got coming with us is really, really good. Love it. And that's going to be a really good one in the volume 4, but we have of course volume 3, and then we'll be seeing you for volume 4 too. Yep, I'm already thinking ahead.
I should be there. Some things have gotten complicated on my end of the things, but that's more of a after show thing.
Yeah, yes, I'll follow up with you on that. But man, you're doing good stuff, man. So keep walking that path.
Yeah, I plan to do so.
All righty. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll bring Clayton in to close with you to close out the show, and ambush Clayton, put him on the air again here. to close it out.
Clayton.
Got to close it out with Clay.
I suddenly need to wake up now.
Yeah,
Yes,
wake
wakey,
you back up.
wakey.
Oh,
You and Grath are going to be on here for the final bell. So, but we just wanted to thank you guys. And Jagi, see, look, I got it.
Jagi.
But Jagi and Clayton
Jagi.
and Grath,
I'm not
you guys,
backing down on this.
I know. Well, I know you. But thank you so much, guys. I mean, it's been a great show tonight. We've loved it.
A lot of fun.
I very much appreciate the opportunity to showcase some of the contributors to this anthology. It's one of the reasons I referred to this as Amelia Counterrevolutionary Podcast 1, because I think you should get Murray and Joseph and Paige, another 3, and have them do a similar tag team so that they can bring forward their ideas. Because Murray's is extremely insightful. Paige went in a rather unanticipated direction, but then again, I ask for people to amaze me with their creativity. I do not micromanage people. And then similarly for Joe, just as Jagi borrowed from her works, so Joe borrowed from his future history of Hot Halcon Nights and placed his interpretation of Amelia 7,000 years in the future. So if at all possible, I would please ask you, Stephen, and you, Holly, to see if we can get them in at some
wrangle
point
them up.
to round out the overview of Amelia Counter-Revolutionary. Besides that, since I enjoy leaving all this in his lap to close, I will do so once again for Grathew and close out myself and crawl up the stairs. And other than that, Deus Walt.
All righty. Take care, guys.
Take care, Clayton.
All right. But I will say, though, that, that would be a good show. If Clayton's still listening here. Joe Eisenberg is a character, and his stories always have stuff that cracks me up. It's like in an anthology, he always has some of the big humor moments. It's like the change of pacer kind of thing. The way he works humor into some of his stuff, and I'd always get a kick out of that. And
Joe has mastered finding the absurdist comedy in everyday situations.
Yes,
that's true.
Oh my God, I always get a big grin when I'm working on one of his stories as an editor, and he's got one coming up in the new Marathonarium, and of course was involved in this as well, and so he always does. He always makes me chuckle out loud while I'm working on it. But then also Paige and Murray. Murray is an extremely good writer who I've had the privilege of working for him as an editor on a couple of projects as well. And he's, in addition to seeing this one, but he's an outstanding writer too. Yeah, what a group! I mean, there's not a weak link anywhere here. But I'll thank you again, Grath, and I'm going to let Holly close the show out with you. But you guys are fantastic. Wishing you the best, and keep making noise on those sales charts, because I'm really happy to see it's doing well.
Yeah, buy the book if you haven't, and Stephen, Holly, if you want me back, just let me know. You know where to find me.
Yep,
will do. Thank you, and thank you all for being such great guests. And yes, guys, check out the Amelia. Now, where is the best place? Amazon, Grathew?
That is my understanding. The best place is Amazon, or you can get it either as ebook or paperback.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be going other places, but that is, I believe, more of a Joe question.
Okay. But the main place right now,
currently,
is Amazon
is the best place to get it.
Okay.
If you found it someplace else, let us know.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So
no kidding.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. And yeah, keep on keeping on and keep writing and yeah, pushing the gamut. And for the rest of you listeners, join us next Wednesday, same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Another great guest, another great chat for the rest of the week. Be creative. Good night, all.